Okay, so I'm going to try something new tonight, and I hope it works. I'm not sure if it will, but like I said, I'm going radio silent. Today is October the 18th, and so I'm doing this vlog today, but I'm going to try to record it onto my computer, upload it to my YouTube, and do it as a premiere so that it'll play on the day of my anniversary, wedding anniversary, which is October 30th, so hopefully you're watching this video and seeing this video on October 30th. I'm not very tech savvy, but I noticed you can set up a time and a date, so I'm going to try it for fun. Let's see if it goes so we're okay. So here's the deal. Today I'm going to talk to you about the pros and cons of being single, pros and cons of being married in this blog. And I'm also going to touch very briefly on mental and physical abuse, because unfortunately sometimes that does happen, but sometimes people take the idea of it to an extreme, and sometimes it is extreme cases. But the thing is there's so many different things about it. So, but I'm also going to talk about how, good things can happen from it. And that people can change, that things do get better, and that sometimes what people on the outside looking in may look at it as something horrible when it's not, okay? And the thing is that marriage is not a piece of paper. It is not something you can just throw away, okay? So it is not easy. It's a lot of hard work. So that's the thing that I want to remind people, that you can't just look at this and be like, okay, I had a problem, I can walk out now. No. So things can get so much better with marriage. So here's the thing. What is the pros of being married? When we think of the pros of being married, pros of being married is always having somebody to come home to when you get off work. And right now, when me and my husband, we work opposite shifts, but you already have your best friend. You don't need to go find new friends. You don't need to look around, because your best friend should be your marriage mate. So there's another pro to being married, okay? The other thing is you have somebody to help you. Sometimes if you struggle, financially, you have somebody that helps you with taking care of the bills. So that helps you too in a marriage, right? And the other thing that's wonderful about marriage is just knowing when there's ups and downs in life. Sometimes both of you are struggling, dealing with the same things, but a lot of times one is up here while the other one is down here with situations that's going on in their lives. And you have somebody you can turn to and talk to all the time. And they're always there. And they help you get through it, when times are rough. So that's pros to marriage. What can be a con to marriage is if you're a very independent natured person and you're not very good about giving and taking. So let's say you're the type that you're one of those women that just always have done your own thing. You've been independent. You don't have to answer to anybody else. You don't have to think about how somebody else feels about certain things. Then that can be a con. And in that situation, you need to really think deeply. Can you be willing to turn that personality around to where you're willing to give to another person, where you're willing to listen to them, communicate with them? Everybody has different levels of anxiety or tempers, and do you know how to handle getting them to calm down so you can really communicate and really get to the bottom of the situation? So the cons of marriage is if you are the type that you like to do what you want when you want to, and you don't like answering to somebody else, and you don't like to listen to someone else, you're going to want to do your own thing all the time, then marriage is going to be a con for you, because that is the big thing about marriage, is good communication and the willing to get to the other person. So that's the cons of marriage, in my opinion. There is others, I'm sure, in other people's opinion, but to me that's the biggest one. And me and my husband have a really good relationship. Before I go too far into this, because like I said, I was going to touch on another sensitive subject. So I want you guys to know that, hold on a minute. That I'm very happy, and so when you are happy is a good thing, and there's nothing wrong with our relationship. So the thing about being single, the pros to being single is come home, you don't have to answer to anybody. Who cares if you squeeze the toothpaste wrong? And who cares if the house is clean? Who cares if the dishes are piled up? Who cares if you cooked for yourself or not? Who cares? You know, it doesn't matter because you only have you to worry about. So there's a lot of freedom in being single. And I really feel that that's a time for you to find yourself. No matter how long you're single, how many years you're single. I have friends that have chosen to stay single. And why? Because of their love for God. They decided that they realized that being married, you have to make time for your marriage mate, and then you can't give yourself 100% to God, become a missionary, full-time pioneer, whatever it may be, and they want to focus on that. And then you have people who are not religious that decide to stay single because, well, they're selfish, and don't take me the wrong way, I'm not being mean to you. I mean, you're selfish in the fact that you're very independent and you're not really good at giving in. You want things your way or the highway. Those type of personality types, they don't need to be married. You want to give 100% to your career. You're at work more than you're at home. Is that fair to a marriage mate? Absolutely not. So, and that's the pros of being married, okay? Being single, I mean, is if you have those personality types, and if you're like that, or if you want to devote yourself to more time to something else, like to putting God first and things like that, you can give all of your time to that because you don't have anybody that you need to spend time with or show attention to. You just have to worry about you and him, or worry about you and your career. And so who cares if you worked 18, 20 hours today? Doesn't matter. You don't have anybody to go home to anyway. So that's kind of a pro of being single. I have a friend. She's a beautiful girl. And if you've seen a picture of her, you'd be like, why isn't she married? She's gorgeous. I mean, gorgeous. Okay, she is a RN. She works in a triage unit. So she makes good money. She works 12-hour shifts 3 days a week. And then she's off 3. She's on 3, she's off 3. She's on 3, she's off 3. What does she do? She full-time pioneers because she puts God first. I'm really proud of her. But I love watching her pictures because I get to travel and go through all these places. And so I love it when she posts pictures of places she's been. I think it's so cool. If she wasn't single, would she be doing all that traveling with some of her friends? Absolutely not. Would a husband, or on the other spectrum, if it was a guy with a wife, be happy if you're away from home more than you were with them? No, because why did you marry me in the first place? You're never home. You never spend time with me. So she's using her singleness to the full. She's not only putting God first, but she's going and seeing places. She's been out of the country I don't know how many times. I don't really like the idea of going out of the country. Just, I don't know why. And then with everything going on, yeah. So, anyway, but it's just really cool to watch the different places she's been, and she goes hiking, and she's got her little backpack on, and she's like a real extreme hiker. It's so cute. And and the pictures when she gets to the top of these mountains, sometimes, oh my goodness, they're breathtaking. There's your pros to being single. What's your cons to being single? Coming home to an empty house, wishing there was somebody there to talk to or vent to whenever you had a bad day. having struggles with being able to pay your bills yourself. You know, because when you're married, then eventually you help each other with the bills. You always have somebody to help you take care of that stuff. You always have somebody there to talk to when you're having anxiety attacks, depression, whatever it may be in your life. And so that's the cons to being single. It's just coming home, nobody being there. But here's the thing, you can fix that so easy, and I'm going to talk about it at the end. So just hang on to the end, okay? I'm going to tell you 2 ways a single person can fix all that without feeling stressed out and without feeling like they have to rush into marriage, okay? So then the other thing, the dark side, is relationships where there's physical abuse or there's mental abuse. It happens. But it's not just women. We need to get that out of our heads. I've seen billboards before where they're showing a man wanting to call hotline for mental abuse or physical abuse, excuse me. So it happens to men as well as women. And here's the thing. There's about 1 in 4 men that do have the problem with that. And it's hard. When somebody has been physically abused, they are very jumpy. They have a hard time with loud sounds sometimes. They just kind of pull into themselves and become a recluse. So, and then mental abuse, it feels like your brain's been bruised. You may not have the bruises all over your face or things like that, but it lowers your self-esteem. You know, if somebody is constantly barraging you with criticism and mean comments, telling you you're not beautiful or nobody would want you or anything like that, it's hard. And sometimes too, here's the thing, it's really hard for the victim, and the victim becomes a recluse. They pull into themselves. They don't want to talk to anybody. Nobody will be around anybody because they don't want to open up about it. They don't want to talk about it, and they're afraid to. Sometimes, and sometimes because they feel like when they open up and vent about stuff like that, that it looks bad on them, or that people won't believe them, or a number of reasons why people don't open up. And I did a blog on that, and then I pulled it because I guess somebody took it the wrong way and thought I was talking about my marriage when I was not. Me and my husband are fine. We're very happily married. And that's why I wanted to bring this vlog, and I want to set for October 30th because it's a celebration of my wedding anniversary, okay? So the thing is, if they need help, you need to be there for the victim, but the worst thing that you can do is tell them how to handle the situation. They need you to listen to them. They don't want you to go and rush into the marriage or the relationship with the person and try to fix it. Wrong move. You don't do that. What you do is you listen to them. And you just let them vent to you. Because that's what they really want from you and what they need. Let them make the decision on how they're going to handle it. Okay? The other thing about it is sometimes it's not as bad as it seems. It could be because they're mad that they blow it up and make it sound a lot worse than what it is sometimes. And if there's the extreme situations, they need to get help. You know, me and my husband, I'm going to give this as an example, I had a very stressful 2 years, and sometimes you just don't realize things you're saying or doing. And we actually, what we do with our religion is we usually meet with the elders, and we had a shepherding call. It's been about a year ago now, and it took a full year for everything to completely turn around. But guess what? It did. We love each other. And the thing is what I look at is people can change, and sometimes it's, like I said, you blow up and make a mountain out of a molehill, okay? It just happens. And the thing is that sometimes the person that's causing the problem, they don't know they're causing the problem. They don't realize that it's hurting you that bad. They don't know. And if you're not communicating or finding a way to communicate, it just builds and it builds and it builds and it builds and builds, okay? So it's not good. And But when they finally realize it, and then you see them working so hard to make the changes because they love you and care about you, and they're fighting for you, and they're fighting for your relationship, it makes you love them more. Let's just put it that way. Because it makes you have so much more deep respect for them, because you know that they're struggling. They're realizing what they've done. They are trying to turn things around. And you see the little changes, and then it gets better and better and better. And it's just, kind of like a butterfly from caterpillar into a butterfly. I love using that analogy, and I use it for the workouts too. But it's fun to watch them grow. It's fun to watch them change, especially when they really want to, when they really love you and care about you, and they're working to make those changes. So, it can turn around, and they can get help, and so can the person who's dealt with it. They may take longer for them to get over some things, because there's going to be triggers, and they're going to be like, oh no, we're starting all over again. I thought we were doing better. But you don't give up. You just don't. Because, there's going to always be setbacks. Because we're imperfect, and it's life. Okay? So, here's the thing. How can anybody help with that? Just check on people. Let them know you're thinking about them, letting them know you care. That's what you do. And I know that I'm whatever, anything, just in being married. Just because we're married doesn't mean we don't want friends. Just because we're married doesn't mean we don't want people to check on us. Sometimes, we get in this rut, and when you're in married life, you feel like you're the only two people in the world. I only have you as my best friend. Nobody else cares about me. Nobody checks on me. Remember, just because we're not, that we have somebody doesn't mean that we don't need friendship. It doesn't mean we don't need people to let us know that they're caring about us. We need encouragement. We need friends. We need to know that people care about us just as much as someone who is single. So sometimes it's kind of sad, but I've noticed that for some married couples it gets that way. It gets routine, and then it gets to where people are thinking, yeah, they're fine, they got each other. If something bad happens, they'll let us know. One of them will let us know. Wrong, 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 wrong. If you haven't been hearing things from them, that's normal. And you're seeing things that kind of makes you worry that something's going on, they need somebody to talk to, check on them. I know that even my father-in-law's checked on us. I have good friends that message me and lets me know that they're thinking about me and miss me. You know how much it makes me smile after I finish those conversations with them? It makes me feel so good inside, because I go and take that back to Brent, and I'm like, so-and-so was checking on us today. They've been missing us. They're wanting to know how we're doing because of everything that's going on. And it makes him smile. So it's a good feeling to know people care about you. And married or not married, right? So your single friends, are you checking on them as well? Make sure you're checking on not only just your married friends, but make sure you're checking on your single friends, because the single friends, I feel like, need us a little bit more, because they go home, and like I said, being married, you have somebody to talk to when you go home. You're single, you don't. But the thing is, I didn't think about this analogy as being rude to single people, but someone made a post, and I was like, ooh, I need to do a blog on this, because I never thought about it that way. But, if you tell a single person, oh, you'll find somebody, that's kind of like, if they already are feeling down and feeling unloved or unlovable because they're having a hard time finding someone, and they really want to find somebody special, and it just seems like it's not happening for them. And then you make that remark, sometimes it's just like cutting them with a knife. It just makes it worse. So don't say that. The best thing to do is just check on and see how they're doing. And don't be like, oh, you'll find somebody. Don't say that to them. I don't know. I'd like to ask a single person what they're more comfortable with somebody saying. Because it would be better to say, I think you're an awesome person, and I'm glad you're my friend, instead of, you'll find somebody. And because if they're down and depressed because they were hoping to start dating this girl or this guy and it just didn't work out and blah blah blah, then that's just another cut to them because they feel like maybe there is something wrong with me, you know. So instead, be like, I love how, you know, go up to them, tell them how awesome they are, tell them why you like being friends with them, why you like working with them, if it's just workmate or something like that. Do something, tell them something about themselves that you notice about them that's really special, and that will make them smile because, you know, they're worth a lot, and they will find that person. And because I feel there's somebody for everybody, but you don't want to give them those kind of remarks. You want to let them know what they need to know is they just need to know that they're appreciated, that they're loved, that they are cared about. And when they know they're loved and cared about, it makes them feel that they are lovable, because you don't love and care about somebody that is not lovable. Am I correct? So, I mean, there you go. So, the thing is how can you be happy being single and staying single? There's several things you can do, but to me, I think two of the most important things is to build a good friendship with several people. Get a close-knit group. And it doesn't mean you're in a clique, it just means that you really jive with those people, and those few people are always there for you. When they see you're not acting out and your character is out of whack, and you're not answering your calls or doing things you normally do, they're a really good friend and they know where you live, guess what they're going to do? They're going to be hopping in their car and they're going to be going and banging on your door, like, you haven't texted me and I've been messaging you X amount of times and you haven't answered me. What is going on with you? Get those kind of friends. Get a group like that. Surround yourself with them. Though the ones that keep checking on you, the ones that are there for you when you're going through a rough patch. The ones that will physically drive out to your house and be like banging on the door, you're going to answer this door and talk to me. Or there they are in the yard. Get them. Because you haven't been answering my messages, so what's going on? Those are your friends. So being single is having a good friend base, having good friends and family that love you and care about you. That is what is going to keep you going. And the other thing about being happy and single is if you want to move out on your own, my suggestion is this. Do you have a really close friend that you jive well enough with it, you feel like you can handle living with them because you've hung around enough with each other and spent enough time with each other that you've seen each other's quirks, your humor, your tempers, your, I can't think of the word, but you know, where you see all those things, you already know what they are like as a person, and those quirks don't bother you. Yeah, I know how to handle their temper, I know what to do to calm them down, or how to get through an argument with this person, things like that. Then they're single and they're looking for somebody to move in with, or they're living out on their own. Why not go to them and be like, hey, why don't we go do blah 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 blah, go get an apartment together, rent a house together, something like that. And then you have somebody to come home to, but you're not married, but it's somebody that is like your best friend, somebody that you can count on, so you can come home and vent to them. I can't believe my day at work today. My boss was blah 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 blah, and I'm like, I'm so frustrated. Oh, here you go. I made you your favorite meal because I got off earlier than you, and I know you texted me earlier frustrated, so there you go. That's what good friends are for. You know, you help each other out, you do things for each other, and that could be as good as being married. So, do you need to be married then? Yeah, not if you got a good friend like that. Stay single, enjoy your friendship, live your life, and have your freedom as a single person. So how do you stay happy being married? We're getting ready to be married 21 years. Let me put it to you this way. My husband and I have definitely had our ups and downs in our marriage. And we've had our share of arguments, our share of having dragouts in our first few years of marriage. And part of it was we didn't understand each other. First, you can get far past the first 5 years of marriage and you're still married. Your marriage is got a high chance of staying and lasting. Reason why is because it takes 5 years, because life goes this way, and then it goes this way, and it goes this way, and it goes this way. You have this good thing happen, and then all of a sudden, boom, the bottom drops out. You don't know how each other's going to handle those things, how they handle things like that as a single person. Now you're trying to handle this thing as a team. You're a team now. So you don't know how to handle it together as a team. And so sometimes one teammate wants to do it this way, and the other teammate wants to do it this way. And then you're and it just happens. Or you have a very strong opinion about something, and the other person has a very strong opinion the other way. And no matter how much you talk it out, you just have to finally agree to disagree. Very rare that me and my husband has had those times, but there's been a couple of times we have. And we finally decided to just walk away and let it go. That we both realized we can't, you know, we come from two different worlds, two different backgrounds. Me and my husband like the similar, same music, we like a lot of the same foods, we like a lot of the same things. When we were dating. Okay, and another thing, if you're religious, marry in your religion. Marry someone who has the same beliefs and same ideas as you. You cannot marry somebody who's not a strong believer like you are, because it ain't gonna work. I watched my mom go through that. Okay, and she didn't have a very happy marriage. My dad was not a witness, and she was. And very rare you're gonna find somebody that is going to be okay with all of your beliefs. So you need to marry somebody that believes the same way you do. Do not marry somebody outside of your religion. They need to believe and feel the same way. That's the first dominator, is having God in your marriage, if you're religious, and believing the same way. Understanding Bible the same way. Understanding all the beliefs. Do you both agree and believe the same way? Me and him were both witnesses. There you go. That's the first and most important thing. And if you're not religious, you better have the same political views. Just saying, that's the other thing that could really destroy marriage or a relationship, even with a friend. So make sure that the things that are very, very important to you, that is part of your core and your being, that you agree on. And that is what is going to help you keep a marriage. And so having that, putting those kind of things first in your life as a married couple together, will make you so strong and make your bond super strong. Okay, so to have a happy marriage and to keep it, you have to have things in common. You have to learn how to work through your disagreements. My husband has very high anxiety, and I have a very hot temper. So sometimes that can be a bad combination. But, you know, over time, I've learned how to handle his anxiety. And I'm still learning, because there's still times when, not as often, you know, where things will happen. And, you know, and I've learned how to deal with it. I'm learning. And he's learning. He's getting much better too with it. And what I'm proud of him is we had one really recent, and he didn't say one mean word to me. Not one. I was like amazed, because now that I'm thinking about it, all he did was show me love, even though he's yelling. Yeah, that makes me super proud, because that tells me that how hard he's working to do better, and it's just amazing. And so you're going to have your ups and downs in life, so don't think you're not going to have them in your marriage. It's going to happen. The thing is that the first 5 years you do butt heads a lot because you don't understand each other's temperament. You haven't dealt with all of the ups and downs in life and how each other reacts and handles it. Everybody reacts to stress differently, and they may handle it one way, you may handle it the other, and so then sometimes you're butting heads because one's pulling you one way and you're pulling them the other way, and you gotta learn to take a step back and be like, whoa, wait a minute, let's stop the temper tantrums, let's calm down, and let's figure this out together. Learning to have great communication in a marriage is the other thing, and the other key that helps you keep a marriage. It's also how you settle arguments and fights. You're gonna have them. I don't care. I don't care how you argue or fight. You're going to have them, because you're not going to agree on everything. It's just not going to happen. So, thing is you want to learn how to handle them and get through them as a couple. And each one you go through makes your marriage just that much stronger, and that much stronger, and that much stronger, and that much stronger, and that much stronger. And then you end up with an unbreakable bond. Nobody can come between you. So it's a beautiful thing. And so to have a happy marriage, you have to have good communication. You got to learn how to handle each other in arguments. You have to have very strong, the same convictions and beliefs, whether it's religious or political. And this, to me, even though all of that's really super, super important, giving and taking, you have to do more giving than you take. You have to be willing to spoil your mate. Your mate says they're craving this. Your mate says they want this. You better be bending over backwards to see that they get it. As long as it's not like $1 million or something. My goodness. Who can afford that? Very few. So, you see where I'm coming from? If they really want something, they really want to do something, if it's really that important to them, if it's something they don't stop talking about, and they really want it, give it to them. Make sure they get it. Spoil them with it. You really want to go out here to eat? Okay, let's go. You've been talking about this for a while, that you've been wanting to do this. Let's do it. You've been craving what? Okay, I got it. You go out somewhere and you're shopping. I think this is really cute. And for an example, me and my husband, every anniversary, I know this year will be different because even though we'll take a week off together, we'll probably go hiking at Turkey Run. Can't wait. Oh, well, Turkey Run. I love to hike. And anyway, but we probably won't go out to eat anywhere, and we probably won't do our little shopping spree we normally do. Because what we'll do is, it's really cute. We'll go eat one of the days during our anniversary. We usually go eat at an MCL in Springfield. We love that place. And then the White Oaks Mall is right there. And so then we just hop on over in the car and go over there, and we go walk off our food. And we shop. And Brent will take me around to, I'm not a fancy person, even though I can dress fancy. I have costume jewelry that if you look at it, you would think I spent $400 or $500 on it. No. I probably will tell you I spent $1, $2 on it. Not more than 8 or 10. It's about the max that I like to spend on jewelry. There you go. So he'll take me to Icy, and he'll take me to Claire's, because those are my two favorite stores, and he'll make me look. I don't buy nothing. Takes me to the next place. Don't buy nothing. He gets himself something, he finds something, he buys it. I still haven't bought nothing. One time was really hilarious. You end up at Menards in the end, and looked at everything, and the only thing that I really liked, halfway liked, and I was kind of like, liked it, I didn't know, and was at Icings at the White Oaks Mall. So guess what we did? We got back in the car. He says, we are not leaving this town until you buy something. it's our wedding anniversary, and we both buy something, and it's kind of like we instead of wrapping the gifts up like we used to, because we've been married 21 years, how we do it is we go shopping together. I let him pick out his gift, he lets me pick out my gift, and that's basically what we're doing. And he was so mad at me because I wasn't buying anything. He says, I want to buy you something. So he takes me all the way back over to White Oaks Mall, takes me back into icings. He says, where's the necklace that you kept looking at, that you decided to walk away from? It's like, it's this one. He says, go get it. So I was like, okay. So I grabbed it and I had to take it up. And he bought it for me. But it made him happy. See, that's what marriage is about. It's a lot of give and take. And it's not just material things that you give to each other. It's emotional. It's time. We had a discussion, and I'm going to get better about it, because I'm realizing that sometimes on our days off, I'll still talk to my work friends and things like that, and I'm like, you know what, I didn't think about it that way. See, he works 7 to 4, I work 1 to 10. He comes in, wakes me up, kisses me goodbye, tells me he loves me, to be safe, and to drive careful. I tell him to do the same thing. I come home at night, he's sound asleep, because I get off at 10. So he's probably asleep by 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, because he's got to get up so early for work, right? So do we really talk to each other? I kiss in the morning when he wakes me up, tells me how much he loves me, and tells me to be careful getting to and from work. And I tell him to do the same. Oh boy, that's our conversation. Our regular days off, and I'm hoping I'm getting a new boss, so I need to talk to him. Because my boss that I've had understands my situation, and she's been really good about it, and because I only work 5 to 10, that's my availability on Sundays, so I only work 5 to 10 on Sundays, and I'm available to do it every other Sunday. But she has chosen to always give me every Sunday and Wednesday off. My husband is always off every Sunday and Wednesday. It gives us 2 days together. You know, 100% of my attention should be on him. 100% of it. I don't do my workouts on those days because I try to make sure that I'm spending time with him. But then, you know, I'll go sit on the car and watch him deal cars, whatever, and sometimes we'll talk, or we'll both start dancing and singing to the music and stuff like that, you know. But then sometimes I'll still talk to the girls or to other people, because all of a sudden I'll hear my phone ding or it'll buzz, and you know what, we live in a world of technology, and you know how hard it is to not look at your phone when you get buzzed. Curiosity. Humans are so curious, we just can't help ourselves. So of course I'm looking. Next thing I know, I'm talking. And that should be his time. And from now on, it will be his time. My 2 days off are my husband's time. Nobody interferes unless it's a family emergency or we're actually spending time with close friends and family. That's it. Otherwise, nope. So, and I told him from now on that's the way it'll be, and I promised that, because he deserves that. Especially the way we work and we don't see each other. And I've been told over and over again I'll never get days because of the fact that I can only work 5 to 10, only 5 hours on Sundays. So they'll never give me a day shift. So where I'm at now, I'm kind of stuck. So anybody know a place I can go? Because I may need to eventually if I want to keep my marriage strong. Point blank. So the thing is there's a lot. That's how you keep a marriage happy. Good communication. Learning how to get along with each other even during disagreements. And a lot of give and take. A lot of give and take. You have to do more giving than taking. You cannot go into marriage and be a selfish person. You have to be a giver. If you can't be a giver, stay single. Do yourself a favor and stay single, because the problem will end up being that you will never be happy in a marriage, because you will never be able to make them happy. Marriage is more than a piece of paper. It's not something that, if I don't like you tomorrow, I'll throw it away. Throw the whole marriage away. That's not what it's about. Would you throw your mother away? Would you throw your mother away because you got mad at her over something stupid? That's a question you need to ask yourself. So, basically, life is hard. So, being married or being single, it's going to be rough. It's going to be a roller coaster ride. Thing is you have to learn how to deal with a roller coaster ride. And there's people out there, before I conclude, that become single, not a choice of their own. They become widowed, either whether it's man or a woman. It becomes really hard. Find friends you can turn to. Find people who are trying their hardest to understand you and understand what you're going through. Talk to them. Help and let them help you work through your feelings and your emotions. If you have somebody that's a good friend and you have room for them in your place, let them move in. You know, even if it's just for a few months, just so you can get through the hardest part of the period of time you're going to be dealing with and the loneliness, to get you through the grieving process, so you have somebody to come home to every day. Don't let yourself feel like you're alone, because you're not. There's people you can reach out to, there's friends, there's family that want to be there for you, that they want to help you, they want to know how to help you, they want to try to understand, but sometimes it takes you making that move with them, even though they always tell us in talks and stuff at the hall, you know, we need to make the move. We need to not just ask, we need to do. Don't say, can I do anything for you? Just do something for them. But sometimes it also needs to happen the other way. When you're going through things like that, you need to reach out. You need to talk to people that you've come to know that really care about what you're going through and dealing with. And if you can find somebody, like I said, you know, and you got room for them, let them move in with you for a while. You know, just ask them, you know, if you need a place to stay, until you can find a place to stay, do you mind coming and living with me for a while? But I'm kind of lonely anyway. I'm so used to so-and-so being here, they're not here anymore. You know, find time to spend with friends. Don't let yourself be lonely. Make time for your friends. Even if you have to be the one to constantly be making dinner and invitations. Even if you have to make the lunch invitations. Even if you have to say, hey, let's go shopping together. I need a girl's day. Even if you're the one that has to make the move, do it. Because I guarantee you, sometimes people don't know what to say to you. They don't know what to do for you. But they want to do something so bad. And all it takes is you asking. Okay? So, just you become one of the little suddenly for some reason. It's, you know, and you've all of a sudden found yourself being single. It can be, I can't even imagine, it's got to be rough, you know. Me and my husband, like I said, have been together now will be 21 years, October 30th. I'm hoping I do this right, and this it doesn't show up onto my YouTube channel till we watched until then. But it can be so hard, but don't let it be. You got this. There's ways. And, so just remember, marriage is not for the faint-hearted. It's not. Marriage is hard, and I'll repeat, it's hard work, but it's so worth it. When we were coming home from putting the grave marker on my mother-in-law's grave, and my father-in-law was talking about what a wonderful woman she was. I know he misses her to the core every day. I can't even imagine his pain, but even though he knows that he's going to get her back in the resurrection, I know he misses her. And he was laughing on the way home, and he says, man, he says, we had such a good marriage, but when that woman was mad at me, oh boy, did she get mad at me. She would get so mad at me. And he says, sometimes I didn't even know why. But that's life. It's marriage. I mean, there's times when you have arguments with your best friend, and you don't really understand why they're mad at you. But they are. So you're like, one of you's got to make the first move to say, I'm sorry. And work it out. you know, and get back to being good friends again. And so it's the same way with marriage, you know, it's a lot of give and take. And it's hard work. And there's nothing easy about marriage because why? Because life is not easy. And you're kidding yourself if you think that marriage is a fairy tale. Marriage is not a happy ever ending. It is not a fairy tale. If you feel like life is a struggle, being single, if you feel there's ups and downs in your life where things are going real smooth and the bottom drops off, imagine that twofold. Because once you're married, it's twofold. Because there's two of you and you're going through it together. Sometimes it'll be happening to one or the other. But then like we had, like, let me put it this way. Okay, it's going on 2 years. We had our garage fire. My husband's hobby is car stuff. My hobby, as you've kind of to know, is what I've been doing now. But we lost a brand new car. We lost all his detailing supplies, all his mechanic tools, everything. Anything that was really special and important to my husband was in that garage. We lost everything. So then finally things started turning around. You know, we were grieving the loss of the garage and we didn't know how things were going to work out. And thankfully we kept praying and praying and praying and just jumping through all the hoops we had to do and kept going. And now we have a really nice 2-car garage. Okay, to replace our 1-car garage that was really long. Then that wasn't it. And then we found out Grayson had cancer in his eye and had to have his eye extracted. And that was a struggle because for the week that he was recovering from that surgery and getting used to having one eye, he was so scared and he was just not himself. And Brent just started screaming and crying and I had to calm him down. And he's like, what happened to my baby? I'm like, honey, the vet didn't do nothing to our baby. We did it. We made the decision to take his eye out to save his life. It's gonna be hard for a while. He's scared. He doesn't understand. He's in pain because of the surgery and he's just confused and it was so hard. So, of course, I'm sitting here. Okay, this is gross. He had an accident because he couldn't get the litter box fast enough. So we're trying to clean up urine all over the living room floor. And Grayson is bathed in it, so I have to go change my clothes and take a sponge bath afterwards. And so Grayson is trying to run away because he's spazzing. And I'm just holding Grayson and I'm like, calm down, it's okay. I'm like, he's right here. He's right here. I have him. You know, let's get some tuna out, tuna water. Maybe we can get the medicine down him because we knew that he was acting funny because we felt like he was in a lot of pain. And we were so scared because the incisions were so fresh and he kept fighting and we couldn't get it down him. And so it was really upsetting him. And so I was trying to keep Grayson calm. And I said, you know, just calm down. You know, so there's your example right there, okay? So then we had to deal with that. And within that period of time, we found out his mom was gotten real worse, and they were to have her 6 months to a year. And that was all like April, I think, and we lost her January 27th of this year. And so, and then he was dealing with that too, the emotions, ups and downs, roller coasters, and how he was feeling about, you know, his mom's been a lot of health issues for a long time, but we knew this was final. And then he was having really bad struggles at work, and then his right-hand man ended up with Bell's palsy, and I'm just giving an example, and the reason I'm doing this is I'm not trying to put my personal life out there. I'm trying to let you guys know. Marriage is hard work. We struggled for a while, and it was because he was going through so much. And it was like, it's piling and piling and piling and piling. And then it was causing problems. And it wasn't intentional. You know, it's just, everybody handles stress in a different way. And then he tells me all the time he feels so blessed that he's got me, because I know how to handle him with his stress and his anxiety and stuff. And he says nobody else could have handled me the way you do. They would have walked out on me a long time ago. And marriage is so hard, But marriage is such a blessing. It's the most wonderful thing you could ever do. And so if you can get through it, you can work really hard at it and get through those rough times, trust me, it comes out better on the other end. But you gotta fight for it. You gotta work for it, and you gotta work at it. You can't just, no, 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 no. So marriage is not a piece of paper. You do not throw away a marriage just because you had an argument. And again, would you throw your mother away? Would you throw your siblings away because you had a bad argument with them? Probably not. So why would you throw your marriage mate away? Have a great night, everybody.